What's up, people? We are
I am
live, ladies and gentlemen.
Not centered in the frame.
You are not centered in the frame. You're very tall. Are you sitting on your butt pillow?
No, I'm not.
What happened? Did you adjust your camera?
No.
Something happened?
I haven't done anything.
You want me to come over there and adjust your camera?
Yeah, I mean, there's no buttons for me to push, so I can, sit back. All right, so everybody who is on TikTok, we are currently live on YouTube. So I'm not going to be interacting much over here. If you want to be part of the conversation, go to our YouTube channel to join the chat. The number 2, Be Better. We are currently going over Never Split the Difference. So I hope to see you there.
Is that better for you?
Yeah, that looks good.
Okay. Oh, man. So our first daytime live.
Daytime, yeah.
116 people currently watching. Is the audio okay for everyone today? We were trying new shit, so...
I am actually a very tall creature. I'm like 5'9", 5'10".
I love that people are listening to us from work.
That is pretty dope, yeah.
Gonna make your workday so much more enjoyable. So, I have a couple of questions for you today.
Okay, let's go.
What are some things that a husband gives his wife when they get married? I have two things specifically that I'm looking for, but I want to
Okay.
see if you're going to hit them.
Long-term stability.
Okay. He doesn't really give her that on the wedding day.
You mean like on the wedding day? Mm-hmm. Oh, I just mean like once they're married. What is he?
Yeah.
Like the day of the wedding.
Two things that a man gives a woman when they get married.
His last name.
That's the one. That's one of the two I was looking for.
His last name. Oh, there's so much. There's only 2 of them, and that's one. So what's the other one? I would say like the promise to. Again, shelter is not the correct terminology, but like you are mine, and I am going to keep you safe, and I'm going to do everything I can. Like that promise is made that day.
So his word.
Yeah.
That was the second thing that I was looking for.
Oh shit! Look at that.
So real quick before we move on, guys, somebody said that they're getting a reverb in the chat. Is anyone else getting that, or is it just that one person? Because if it's just that one person, that's them. I'm not worried about that. But if it's everyone else, it's a problem. Mm-hmm. So we talk constantly about what makes a man, and him being able to keep his word is one of those things that are really fucking high as a priority on my list. So if a man can't keep his word, you can't trust him, your wedding vows mean absolutely nothing. Right? They're literally just hot air at that point. And the other thing is the last name, because if you decide to take the man's last name, which you should, because you're creating your own family at that point, the reason I ask those things is because if your word means nothing and your last name has no value, what are you truly giving your woman on her wedding day? And by your last name having value, that comes to the quality of your character and how you're represented in a public setting, and people who know who you are, your name has validity behind it. Mm-hmm. And if you are a piece of shit human being, your name means nothing. And if you have done nothing in life to create, I don't want to say an empire, but if you've not done anything to create real sustenance in your world, your last name means nothing. Mm-hmm. You know, there was a time in life when a last name had real fucking weight behind it.
A last name could save your life.
Right. And now, because people don't live with integrity and don't try to level up the way that they should, last names really mean nothing. I've been dwelling on this pretty hard for the last couple of days because those are two things that mean a lot to me. My last name means a lot to me, regardless of my family history. When people say my name, I want there to be a weight of integrity behind it. I don't want it to just be, some guy. So there was a couple other points that I wanted to cover in that, but I'm actually shocked that you got both of those. It just
Why are you shocked?
Because our brain patterns work real well together.
Yeah.
So with the last name thing, if your last name means nothing and you can't handle your word, or your word has no real weight behind it, you're not really giving your woman anything on her wedding day that's of real sustenance.
No.
Okay. The other things that I wanted to bring up, because I made notes. We haven't recorded for days.
Oh gosh, yeah, it's been 3 days now.
Yeah. So every time I have a little thought, I'm like, oh, let me just make a notey note. You know what I mean?
A little notey note.
So this question is more for the men in the chat. Do you think that your kids look at you as a role model and somebody that they would aspire to be like, that they would willingly follow into battle if they were old enough to do so? Willingly, not be coerced,
Right.
but like
Not feel obligated or guilted to.
Right. somebody stepped into the house and like crossed that threshold in a violent manner, would they be your second in command to keep your family safe kind of shit? And if not, you're failing as a man, in my opinion. You are failing as a father, you're failing as a leader, you're failing as a husband, because you are not leading your house in a true leadership position. You might boss people around, you might have a little bit of an attitude and dad voice everybody to get your way, but there is a difference between your kids seeing you as a role model and choosing to follow you versus you making demands and making them submit to you because you're bigger than they are. The other thing, do you have anything you want to talk about on that one? Okay.
No.
I wrote operate with intention. If you're dating to marry, then why are you dating? And I asked that because we have a lot of people who are like, I don't want to ever get married. They just don't. So if you meet somebody who believes in dating to marry and you guys start dating and get serious and they fall in love with you and you're not dating to be married, you're wasting this person's time.
Yeah, that definitely needs to be a upfront conversation.
Right. Because who's to say that you're going to make it 10 years with this person and then change your mind? In reality, if you don't want to get married and you know that, there's a very strong likelihood that you're never going to change your mind on that.
Yeah.
I wrote on here, are you afraid of being alone? Are you afraid of settling? Because you're not planning. You're not living with intent. You are literally just existing to get the things that you're trying to get from somebody without any real commitment. I feel like people who live with no intention, you are planning to fail in all aspects because you're not doing things deliberately. You're just doing them to do them.
Right.
And if that's the case, you shouldn't be in a relationship. You shouldn't be trying to settle down. You shouldn't be trying to bring people into your home and make it a house, or a house into a home. And you shouldn't be trying to have kids. And like, if you're not living with deliberate intent, okay, 1 year from now, I want to make another $10,000 at my job. 2 years from now, I want to get so good at what I'm doing, I can start looking into a side hustle. 3 years from now, I want to start an LLC and get my side hustle going. 5 years from now, I want to make my first $100,000 as my own business. What are the steps that I need to do to make that happen? Once I hit $100,000, I want to be able to take my kids and my wife to Disney week for 2 weeks. We would never go to Disney, but if that was a thing, that would be a thing. You have intent. You are working to provide. You're working to lead. You're working to level up. You're putting weight behind your last name over those first 5 years so that when you get married, you have something to give to your wife. And you're proving to her that you're a man of your word while you're fucking leveling up and doing these things because you are living with intent. See how I tied all that back together?
Yes.
I believe that people who have no value behind their name, do not live with intent, do not keep their word, are only dating to date and fuck and not actually commit. And people who are operating without intent are simply living to fill a void in themselves. And they are instant gratification people, and they will never have anything of real sustainability ever in their life because they don't have the desire to do
There's no
anything
drive.
long term, right? Yep.
I could never be with a man who wasn't a man of his word.
No?
I couldn't. Everything out of your mouth I know is not true. Come on.
Yeah.
I could not live my life like that.
You know how many people are in relationships that live like that, though?
Yeah, why?
Comfort.
Ew.
I mean, look at all the women who feel the need to check their men's phones. I mean, if you feel the need to check somebody's phone, you can't trust them.
I used to do that. I was that chick who would go through the phone and find things and hurt my feelings. It wasn't even a things that I was searching for.
Yeah.
I would find something different and be like, damn, dude, like really? And it wasn't even things that were like cheating. It was like hiding corn,
Yeah.
which is still cheating. It's not like he was conversing with somebody and having an emotional affair.
No, that's still cheating.
Right, it is. And that hurt my feelings. I thought there was an actual affair going on and it was just cheating. I mean, the corn cheating.
Yeah.
And that hurt my feelings. So I went searching for something, found something else, and I hurt my feelings. And I'm not willing to do that anymore. I'm not going to sit there and look through somebody's phone. If I can't take your words at face value, why? Why are we even doing this?
You know that in that scenario of the phone, I don't even know why I brought up the phone thing, but in the scenario of the whole phone thing, even if you had a good man who doesn't do the corn thing, doesn't fuck around with OF, isn't talking to other women, and let's say that he's super close to his brother and is not somebody that can not divulge their personal lives.
We just hit 1,000 viewers on TikTok.
Crazy. Because some people need to vent to people. Some people just don't have that self-restraint to work through their problems without having to put other people on blast. But let's say that you guys had a really bad fight like 3 weeks ago. And the next morning, oh boy woke up super pissed off still and decided to text his brother and be like, I can't believe what this bitch did last night, and like started ripping you apart because he was angry. And then you go through his phone 3 weeks later thinking everything's okay, and you see the messages between his brother and see that he fucking ripped you apart.
Yeah.
And it was purely out of anger, knowing that you would never see that, but he was getting that out of his system. It's creating a negativity bias in the brother. It's creating an issue for you to see the shit later on. It's going to create all kinds of problems. Dude is emotionally frail. He doesn't know how to articulate himself in a manner that's conducive to fixing things, because if he could, he would actually just talk to you about what's happening in the way that he made you feel versus complaining to the brother. But not all men are able to do that. Some men need to just verbalize and talk shit and get that out of their system.
So in that instance where it just has to be like talk shit and get it out of the system, it needs to be with somebody who understands that this is pure emotion in the moment.
Right.
They can't take and be like, oh my God, she did that? Wow. My girl don't do that.
Yeah.
She got a sister too. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. That whole situation makes me uncomfortable. I really been thinking about the whole last name thing. And like, we hear people all the time say, this came from a conversation in Discord this morning. I enjoy watching the Whatever podcast. I enjoy Pearly Things. I enjoy Andrew Tate. I enjoy all of that shit because it triggers people.
It's very controversial topics for people.
Right. And some of it's bullshit.
Yeah.
A lot of it is not. A lot of it is data driven. And I enjoy listening to those conversations. I don't agree with all of it. And when I hear something stupid, I'm like, that's really fucking dumb on both sides of the argument.
Right.
But I'm a free thinker. I'm not going to allow somebody else's opinions to dictate my thought process. I'm going to hear something. I'm going to dissect it, digest it a little bit, and then make a decision on whether or not I want to change my mind on what's being discussed.
So in those moments, are you really sitting down and figuring out how you feel on the subject?
No, I'm not, because my feelings don't matter.
Right.
When I hear a discussion about something and people are talking data and people are making conversations, this got brought up because somebody in Discord posted the Whatever podcast, and it was about divorce and how women should stay with men even if it's abusive because they should work through their problems and not get divorced. And like, that's an extreme ideology when it comes to that red pill nonsense. And when you have extreme situations on either side of an argument, people are idiots. You're not willing to like really listen to what the fuck you're saying.
So you're saying you're forming opinions on logic-based things.
Right. Yeah, I think heavily before I start formulating opinions. But at the same time, those podcasts are very entertaining because the people that get on there shit on each other. It's like watching Jerry Springer in 2023 versus in 1996.
Right.
I don't remember why I brought that up, so I guess it doesn't matter.
Okay.
I had a point that I was going through with all that, but I moved so far away from the point that I don't remember what I was getting into. It had to do with the conversations that they were having, though, and it's gone. I'm old.
You were talking about a negativity bias, and when you go outwards to rage, it can create further issues in the future.
Yeah, that was before we got into the podcast talk.
Extremes and ideologies, Whatever podcast.
It's gone.
Damn.
It's gone.
All right.
Those podcasts, though, entertaining.
Yeah.
I feel like for people who have logic brain thinking and can actually hear what's being said, there's a lot to learn from those podcasts because you see the extremes on both sides.
Oh, yeah.
And somewhere in the middle of there is a healthy situation. And if you really just listen to it and make informed decisions and pay attention to what the fuck is going on, you may get something from it.
Yeah, when you're able to remove emotion and just listen to the words being said and then formulate your own thoughts on those words.
I remember why I brought all that up.
Fantastic.
Look at that. Fucking brains on again, guys.
Hey.
I brought all of that up because on those podcasts, you always hear people say, what do women bring to the relationship? What does a man bring to the relationship? Where's the value? What's the point in getting married and all of that shit? And that's what led my thought process into a man's word and a last name.
Yeah.
Because a woman makes a house a home. They multiply. A man who finds a wife finds a good thing, right? That matters to me. So when people ask me, If somebody was to ever ask me, what do you bring to your marriage? I can say I lead, protect, and provide. I can say that I work. I can say that my woman doesn't have to do shit that she's got it made because I do X, Y, Z. But what I brought to my marriage was my word, my work ethic, and my last name. My last name would have no meaning if I didn't have work ethic. My word would have no meaning if I was a piece of shit without integrity. So when I hear those questions on those podcasts now, that's going to be my answer in my head every single time. So what does a woman give her husband on her wedding day?
I can't. There's just one thing in my mind, and I'm like, I can't say that.
Well, she probably gave that away before her wedding day.
No, I mean, a forever corn star.
Yeah.
Like, we're gonna be trying new shit all the time to keep you interested in this. There's a lot.
It shouldn't be sexual based, though.
No, I know. That's just one of the things.
Right.
I am super offended you think that.
I don't think that. I'm stating that because there's going to be people in the comments when they watch this later that's going to be like, oh, all they bring is sex.
Well, that's
because
one of the number one things you hear men complain about in relationships is that they don't get anything from their wife intimately anymore.
They don't hear me complaining about it.
I have never heard you complain about it. Nobody in your life has ever heard you complain about anything in our relationship because I am on my shit and I make sure that you are happy, fed, and emptied.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that it's not fair for me to ask you that question as I've been thinking about this for days.
So
I don't mean to like be shitty by putting you on the spot like that, but I am curious. And for the people who are watching, people are already answering. Heather Brewer said, I'm speechless to that question. Heather, a different Heather, the mod Heather said devotion. Sue Willett said herself. Kay said her word, her heart, half her soul. If that was true, if that last one was true, her word, her heart, half her soul, women would not be initiating 70 to 80% of divorces.
yeah.
They would also not be initiating 70 to 80% of marriages. Or I'm sorry, I believe that number is 50 to 60%. 50 to 60% of women are initiating, pushing for marriage.
Oh God, I can't tell you how many men I've just overheard. Like I'm in the same building and we have mutual friends and I've heard them say, yeah, she really pushed for it and just one day I gave in.
Yep. Yeah, it's a very common thing.
Yeah.
And then they don't stay true to those things. And obviously men do the same shit. Like it's not,
So while you're doing that, we have 1.5 thousand people watching us on TikTok right now.
I just saw the comment.
So everybody on TikTok, we are currently live on YouTube. I am not paying attention to the comments over here. So if you want to be a part of the conversation, head to the YouTube channel, the number 2 Be Better. We are going to be more engaged over there. I love that you guys are all here. Let's shift it over there though.
Megan Harvey said, reverse that. What about if the woman is the one who is more about being intimate? I don't see how that's really relevant, but intimacy should be going both ways.
I don't know.
And I'm assuming that you mean sexually intimate in that aspect, but Alexandra Martel said the promise of a home. Liam Stark said the pure confidence in her words shows how much he does for her, and that's goals. I'm so glad you popped up on my FYP. I'm here to fix myself before I date again.
I love that.
That's the best comment I've read on here today. I love that. Intimacy, care, love, and respect.
Devotion. Like I'm purely devoted to you.
You were devoted to me before we got married.
Right. Well, okay.
And I was too, otherwise we wouldn't have gotten
Right.
married. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to take it a little bit further with that conversation because even if a man's word doesn't mean anything and he makes his vows are useless. But if a man's word doesn't mean anything, there's no weight behind his last name. Is he really going to be able to be a protector? And here's a perfect example of that. How many men will be like, I'd fucking kill for my woman, but won't help with the kids? But won't, make sure that her fucking tire pressure is good in the tires and won't get out and pump her gas and wants to play on his phone while she runs into the gas station and doesn't pay attention to her safety.
Give other women attention on the internet.
Right. Get in there fucking on Instagram and want to talk with their chest about how
It's
fucking
just pictures.
gangster they're going to be if things ever come down to violence for their woman, but
You're not willing to do anything else?
aren't willing to meet the emotional requirements that she needs as a husband. because, that plays into the whole his word fucking matters thing.
I'd rather be single.
So with all of that being said, knowing that women's intimacy is directly linked to their security and safety, how safe they feel with a man.
That explains a lot between us.
That's not where I was going with that, but I'll take it.
I'm bragging.
That matters though, right?
It does. It does matter.
All right. I'm going to real quick log into my chat with AJ so that I can see what super chats have come through, and then we can get into the book. If he sent them. He has not sent them yet. AJ, if you're in the chat, can you send those chats, please, so that I can read those 2 super chats before we jump into... Oh, wait, you know what? I could probably just click them.
People are actually popping over from TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm so stoked about that.
Yeah. Josh Wolf said, me and my woman swap phones for at least an hour a week. And if we see or find anything we aren't comfortable with, we talk about it and fix it. It's dope. Brittany said, women are often bringing emotional management and are to be a friend. It's philo love. I don't know what any of that means because I'm obviously not smart enough to understand that statement. I think those were the only 2 supers.
So everybody in the chat who's having a hard time finding us on YouTube, all of the links are in my TikTok bio.
Yep.
All right. Do you want to get into the book?
I do.
Okay. So for everybody who's new here, we are currently going over Never Split the Difference, if at all.
While you intro that, I'm going to go grab a drink.
Ooh, can you also grab me a drink?
You want?
No, I'll have a soda, please. So, it focused for a moment. So this is written by Chris Voss. He is I believe a former FBI negotiator. Absolutely insane at his job. And I'm going to mix it up this week. Before I was just reading my notes. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to read the blurb or the excerpt from the book and then give you the note that I made on it because I feel like that's going to be a little bit more cohesive. Thank you.
You're welcome. Oh. Boop.
You have anything you want to say before we get into it?
Nope.
All right. So,
Oh, wait. Yes, I do. Okay. Guys, everybody that's watching right now, if you have conversation that you want to have interrupted into what we're discussing, a $50 super chat will interrupt the chat. AJ, I need to be remembered to change the chat code so that I can add that separate from the emails one. If you do send super chats, we will read those after we're done with the book, and then we might do a little bit of Q&A, but I don't think we'll be on that long today. And then for anybody that has sent emails that would like your emails expedited and not have to wait for the months of emails that we have to run through, it is a $50 fee. AJ can link that now so that you guys can see that as well. And then we can read those on Sunday nights when we go live. There's currently 2 emails ready to go for Sunday, and we are looking for 2 more. So,
alrighty. Fantastic. So now that everybody has heard that, let's get into it. So the first blurb is present an alert in the moment. They use all the new information that comes their way to test and winnow true hypotheses from false ones. And the thought that I got from that was come out of your emotional thinking and put your assumptions aside because you could be very wrong and listen to what your SO has to say. From there, you gather information to sort what is true and what is your perspective on it.
okay. So emotional mind thinking can definitely deceive you. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
Definitely.
Yeah.
You should engage the process with a mindset of discovery. So you have to be inquisitive. You're going to be an explorer. The person you're speaking to, their mind is a wonderland that you have to figure out how to navigate. That's where a lot of like the miscommunication breakdowns come in because you're not willing to understand. You're just willing to defend. Make sense? Mm-hmm. All right.
We talk about that a lot. Mm-hmm. So I'm gonna translate FBI interrogator to dumbass for those of you who need the translation. We talk about constantly how you need to listen to understand versus listening to speak. Mm-hmm. And we've talked about in previous podcasts that the average person listens for a max of 17 seconds before interjecting their point to either speed the conversation up or to dominate the conversation. And when you are in emotional conflict with somebody, you can't defend yourself. You need to understand where they're coming from so that when you speak to them, it's coming from a point of understanding and not a point of contention.
Correct.
Translation from FBI to dumbass. You're
well,
welcome.
that second part of being inquisitive was my words, and I'm not an FBI negotiator.
Well, look at
so.
that. So then there was a 3-step translation.
Yeah, like you have to be
From
inquisitive and be an
FBI
explorer.
interrogator to bad bitch to dumbass. Got it. Go team.
I don't like that you're the bottom rung on that.
Well, you're the one that's doing all the work on this. So
You're also a bad bitch, though. Like, don't dim your light.
don't tell me what to do.
You bitch. Not what I was anticipating. Totally caught off guard and very impressed by your pettiness.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Petty spaghetti, bitches.
I'm gonna make that for dinner.
Yeah?
Yeah. You don't like spaghetti.
I don't. So you're winning. Guess I'm going to eat pizza.
Bitch. Fuck, I forgot that you're an adult with access to money. There's really nothing I can do as a form of punishment towards you. Like, what am I going to do? Hide your car keys?
That would suck. I would have to take your car. But I also don't go anywhere. That wouldn't work. I'd be like, babe, I can't find my car keys. Can you make a bank run?
I'm going to misplace your favorite pair of underwear.
That would suck. Because I only have like 3 pair that I like to wear on a
Right,
regular
yeah.
basis. The other ones don't fit well.
Be careful. You don't really want me thinking about this.
You can think about it all you want.
And then in turn, I'm going to get a punishment. So it's going to be so much fun.
There's currently 628 people watching us.
Holy shit. That's crazy. Blurb number 3. Too often, people find it easier just to stick with what they believe in. Using what they've heard or their own biases, they often make assumptions about others before even meeting them. They even ignore their own perceptions to make them conform to foregone conclusions. These assumptions muck up your perceptual windows into the world, showing us an unchanging, often flawed version of the situation. Sounds a lot like a cognitive bias.
Yep.
So my thought on that is it's easier to believe what you have come up with or what others have said than to admit that you jumped to conclusions. The assumptions blur your vision. You are looking at shadows versus at looking at what is causing them.
So I believe that that is a instinctual thing that is designed to keep us alive. Right? Because in a scenario where you have clans or tribes that are trying to kill each other, Jack Donovan talks about this in The Way of Man. It is an us versus them mindset.
It is.
And it will always be us and they will always be them until you get to know them. So you have that 100,000 years or 200,000 years of evolution where we were running from lions and killing each other and, you know, in the masses. So you have that bias where you're
Right.
going to prejudge and try to ascertain if they are a threat. And you're going to have that us versus them mindset.
So I do agree with that. It is healthy to have that mindset. The difference between having that mindset and avoiding what we just described is removing the emotion from it. So you can perceive somebody as a threat. You can be aware of them. Until you have all of the information, you're not going to just go ahead and attack them.
Right.
So,
Depends on how big of a threat you feel they are. None of that was really relevant.
Right.
I was only pointing it out that I do believe that that cognitive bias is part of our DNA.
yeah.
And that whole us versus them mentality.
Okay.
I'm going to pause you too before you move on. We have gotten new subscriber after new subscriber repeatedly since you told people to come here from TikTok. Watch.
Shut up.
Watch. He's going to call me a
So
liar
I see a
now.
Jolene.
It's been
Alicia.
nonstop. Every time I look over, there's one popping up.
Shut up.
Let's see.
You guys really did the thing. You came from TikTok.
I'm telling you.
Tyler.
We hit 77,000 this morning at like 3 or 4 o'clock this morning.
That's absolutely insane.
That Social Blade, there's another one. Fucking wild, right? That Social Blade app said that we're going to hit 80,000 in 4 days. I think that it's going to happen sooner with these live streams. It's projected that we're going to hit 100,000 subscribers by the end of July.
I'm just.
Dude, it's fucking going, right? And there's super
The
chats
fucking
coming
chat just nonstop from TikTok. I
Crazy.
joined from TikTok. Came
Crazy.
from TikTok.
All right. I had to point that out because I keep seeing it pop up out of the corner of my eye
Right.
and like
I'm getting goosebumps. It's nonstop. Thunder midget fishing.
That's funny.
I love that. What a creative name. I love it when it's just not people's names. Jay.
All right, let's get back into the book because if this is going to continue, this
Okay.
will be our entire podcast.
Okay.
Unfucking real, man.
So, great negotiators are able to question the assumptions that the rest of the involved players accept on faith or arrogance, and thus remain more emotionally open to all possibilities and more intellectually agile to a fluid situation. And my point on that was don't be afraid to ask questions, to search to make sense and understand, especially when the people around you are just all hive mind on shit. So, if you've created a negativity bias with your family about somebody and they're all on the bandwagon of like, yeah, fuck them, you have to be the one to take a step back and be like, okay, so clearly I've incited a mob.
Yeah.
I need to take a step back and kind of reevaluate things and get a new perspective.
And a new group of friends.
Yes.
Yeah.
Anything you'd like to add?
No. Somebody did just say that we should add that our YouTube live stream has better audio quality than TikTok.
Oh,
so for people who are on the TikTok, they should definitely come to YouTube.
Everybody on TikTok right now, we are currently live on YouTube, and I was just told that the sound quality is far better. So if you want to hear better and actually be a part of the conversation, go to TikTok, because I am not paying attention to the comments over here except for the one that said I look and sound like Emma Stone.
It happens all the time.
Once again, I don't see it.
I don't either.
Yeah. Okay. Point 5. Looking back, of course, his game plan was clear. He wanted to confuse us as much as he could until he could figure a way out. So in this instance, he is talking about a bank robber who has been having an ongoing standoff with the FBI. It's been like 16 hours. He's made it sound like he has a host of hostages. There's a team of people in there that's rotating shifts and all of this, right? My live access was just removed.
Yeah, did you get kicked? Did you get flagged?
It just says violation reason general.
Oh, man. Gotta love that. Good thing you plugged it right before they kicked us off.
Yeah.
I could have swore I just answered somebody. Jessica asked the name of the book again. The book is called Never Split the Difference. I thought I answered it, but I'm not seeing my chat show up, so...
So I just appealed it and we'll see what happens. Okay, what was I saying? Bank robbers. So this guy was giving the FBI a runaround. And what he was doing was stalling to try and like sneak out the back door.
All I can hear in my head is the Benny Hill show. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah.
So on that point, I wrote down, you have to pay attention, you have to be present, you have to recognize when someone is trying to derail you. Do not let them distract you from the main point of the conversation. So we hear all the time in emails, I say this is an issue, and then he brings up something else, and we never get a resolution. So in those moments, I would be, for example... I don't know, I'm talking with a friend and I lend them $50 and we agreed that it would be paid back by Friday. Friday's here, whatever happened, all right, I'll give you a grace period. Let's get it to me on Monday. Monday comes. Okay, look, you're kind of like dicking me around at this point. I need the money back. I loaned it to you on good faith. We've been friends for a while. You gave me your word that you were going to pay me back. I rearranged my bills to be able to help you out. You have to pay me back now. Yeah, well, my car broke down and then this happened and I had to go grocery shopping. You owe me the money that I loaned you. Right? I know I did that and I've always paid you back and you've always been super good to me. You owe me the money that I loaned you. We're not going to go off into a sob story. We're not going to go into pity me. This is going to happen or I'm not going to help you out in life anymore and probably our friendship's going to change.
Yep, never loan what you can't afford to lose.
Even then, it's just the principle of it.
Yeah. Well, I know.
You never loan unless you can lose it.
I don't loan, period. If somebody needs money and I'm able to help them, I give it to them. Mm-hmm. And I tell them that if you want to pay me back, that would be great. But I'm not looking at this as a loan because I know they're not going to pay me back.
Yeah.
Because if they were financially
stable enough.
Stable, they wouldn't be asking me
giving
for money, right? If you were a good steward. Did they give you a reason as to why you were banned from TikTok?
No, I got a notification from the kid's school.
Oh.
And it's not a massive notification. It's just saying that we are now following new dietary guidelines, so we're not passing out lollipops on Wednesdays.
Oh, dietary guidelines.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Any other points you'd like to hit?
Nope.
At one point, we had 1,700 people watching on that TikTok
That's
live.
wild. And somebody flagged us because
Yeah.
one of us said something that they didn't agree with, and instead of just scrolling like an adult,
They reported
They
it.
got sand in their vagina and had to report us. That's right. I said it.
Makes me want to take like a wire brush.
Yeah. What does that say about us as a species? Right? At one point, we were literally like claned up and killing each other over like small amounts of food, water sources. And now we get so offended by words and the things that people say, we have to tell on them. Oh, I don't like that. Make it go away.
I'm getting to that point now with the kids where they're coming to me and telling me everything. And I can hear the other one in the background apologizing like they're trying to take ownership.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. If you guys can't resolve this between the two of you and you come to me, both of you are getting in trouble.
They're almost old enough where we can get them those really big inflatable gloves.
Oh, yeah.
And they can resolve their differences.
You don't want to talk it out?
Yeah.
Go.
Toddler fight club.
I was just thinking that.
Oh, man. That's definitely not what you want to teach your kids, but the thought of it is fucking
It
hysterical
is pretty
to me.
hilarious, yeah. All right, next point. Though the call had come in at about 8:30 a.m., by the time we arrived across the street from the bank and made contact, it was probably about 10:30 a.m. The word when we came on the scene was that this was going to be a cookie cutter by the book, short and sweet. Our commanders thought we'd be in and out of there in 10 minutes because the bad guys supposedly wanted to give themselves up. This would later become a problem when negotiators stalled and command became embarrassed because they'd made the massive mistake of sharing this early optimism with the press based on all the early misinformation.
Oh, man.
So a lot of thoughts came from that. The first one is running to anyone. We are over. He mistreats me. And then we're back together a week later. He hasn't responded in 5 hours. I knew he was cheating on me. Oh, wait, his phone's dead. That's that vibe that gets me. You're jumping to conclusions and spreading misinformation to everybody in your life, creating a negativity bias purely based on your jumping to conclusions. Like your calves must look immaculate.
They're emotional athletics.
And then from the misinformation, that also made me think about that chick who hired somebody to message her man to catch him cheating.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't.
Yeah.
He didn't fall for it. The girl that she hired lied to her,
And then admitted it on
came
TV.
clean about it, and was like, look, you're willing to hire somebody to catch your man cheating. Clearly, he doesn't deserve you. I saw an in and I took it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, y'all are playing yourselves in all of this.
I hope he ended up with that other chick.
Me too.
I really
Like,
do.
Let me take a little sip. 600 plus people watching? Stop it. How are you guys doing today? I like that you're all here.
You guys see that green name that says a Great Wolf Tactical? I'll be interviewing him today. So in the next probably 3 days, there'll be a video going up of us doing our first interview. Oh, did I tell you that chick, that therapist emailed us this morning?
The Orlando one?
Yeah. The one that we're interviewing on
No,
the
you did not
9th.
tell me
She
that.
said that she's getting caught up finally because she was behind. And she hit episode 24 and was like, I love that you guys are talking choice therapy. She's like, I took notes. There's questions that can be answered that you guys didn't answer in the podcast. And I want to talk about it when I come on the show. Dude,
I am so stoked.
I'm so ready to start fucking interviewing people.
Oh my God.
Yep.
I can't tell you how ready I am for that. That is going to be a whole new, like if we could get that, I can't pronounce her first name, but Miss Parks, the North Korean lady,
Oh, yeah.
I would be floored if we ever got to interview her.
Yeah. We really, if this gets where it's going, I don't doubt that it's going to get there. It's just a matter of when it gets there. We really need to consider getting a studio that's not part of our house. There are people that I would fly in.
Oh yeah, me too.
Like I would have no qualms interviewing Dakota in front of my whiskey shelf.
Right.
But they're, people that I don't know, having them come into our home would be a little weird.
We could even just rent an apartment.
Right, and just build it out.
I really think the way to do it is get like a condo in Tampa.
I do too.
Right there by the airport.
I do too.
I love that y'all are here at 11:40 Eastern Standard Time. Just hanging out with us. That's fantastic. And I love that you guys are learning something from it. I'd feel super silly sitting here doing all of this if you gained absolutely nothing besides this person's an idiot. Did that just register?
Yeah.
All right. I guess we're going to get back into it.
Okie dokie. We should look into studio apartments in Tampa or even Clearwater.
I concur. If we do that, I would like it to be not a studio apartment, like a 1-bedroom apartment. That way we can have a room set up there, and if we just want to go away.
I was just thinking that if we did it out by Clearwater Beach, or we did one of the
Right.
beaches up there, we would absolutely be able to get a 2-bedroom and just go up there and have a place to go and vacation a couple nights a week if we wanted to.
That would be fantastic.
Yep. Or if people flew in and were here for 2 days, you know what I mean? Like that second bedroom wouldn't be a big deal. Anyways.
Someone
things
just
in the
said
future.
smoking and learning with Peaches, and I love it.
Wait till y'all see the intros that we got coming.
Oh, do you mean for our vlogs? I'm very excited for mine, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna end up. I posted my first vlog like live, like the first live one that I posted. But I don't know how much of that's gonna continue to be posted live.
Why is that?
I don't know. It just seems weird to sit down and talk shit.
I like mine being posted to Discord.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think I want mine posted on YouTube. So if you guys want my own personal vlogs and thoughts, you should go check out Patreon and consider joining the Discord.
Yep. Somebody asked what the interviews would be for. So right now we're looking to interview people that have businesses, relationships that are long-term, like together. Obviously not. I'm not trying to just do relationship shit, but if people have a small business or they've done some sort of authoring or I don't know, a creative of some sort. I want to do something more than just coaching calls. Although the coaching calls are something that is going to go live here pretty soon too. So, Paige Witt said I also purchased The Choice Theory. Choice Theory is such a good book.
It really is.
Yeah.
Okay. So there was a blurb in here that says the thinking behind this policy was that all these extra set of ears would pick up extra information. In some standoffs, we would have as many as 5 people on the line analyzing the information as it came in, offering behind-the-scenes input and guidance to our man on the phone, and that's how we were set up. And then I wrote down, are we the FBI negotiators for relationships?
If we could be flies on a wall during an argument, absolutely.
Oh my gosh.
I would love to be able to fucking listen to people have their conflict.
Do you know how quickly we would be able to resolve things with people if they were actually willing to hear the advice that we gave?
Yep. I think so. I think it would happen quick. I honestly, because I listen to the way things are worded, I believe that when people say things, their speech patterns tells you a lot about the way that they view life. Like we had someone the other day say that they were waiting to fall back into something. I don't remember what it was. But using that term to me went, you're waiting to fall back into something, so you're not taking any action or responsibility on how you're going to improve your life. You're just waiting for something to happen. Because that's how that sounds to me. I'm waiting to fall back in love, or I'm waiting to fall into that new job position. Like, you don't fall into shit.
Right. That's like,
You fall on the ground.
when I hear that, I'm imagining someone looking at like a basketball waiting for it to bounce itself. That's what I see.
Jedi mind trick that shit.
Right. So I see a lot of people asking about the Discord, so I'm going to plug Patreon real quick.
Okay.
So for those of you who aren't aware, we do have a Patreon. We do have 3 different tiers. The first tier is a $5 donation. It's just a thank you. We appreciate everything that you're doing. The second tier is $10. You get access to exclusive content and pre-release content. And the third tier is $15. You get access to everything the $10 tier does, along with 4 live streams a month and access to the Discord, which now has over 730 people in it. Massive community. So much fun. There's so much help in there. People daily are saying how much they are gaining just from being a part of that community.
You know that we have to do our giveaway on Discord still.
We do. We have to figure that out. And then there is a 4th tier, which just kind of ties into the $15 tier. It's $20. It's $5 extra to get an additional link to the Discord to give to your partner, a sibling, your best friend.
Let me clarify that. There's not an additional link. Do not fucking message me asking how to get into Discord. If you pay the $20 tier, read the fucking pin post. It tells you how to do it.
Yes. When you are joining Patreon to get into the Discord, do not do it on the app on your phone.
Yeah, it is such trash.
You have to sit down at a PC. It's laid out completely different, so much more information, so many different pins, and you'll be able to accurately get to the Discord channel to link your Patreon. Or you have to link your Discord through the Patreon.
Yeah, through the settings in Patreon.
To get the access to the Discord.
Yep. And then once you get in there, if you pay the $20 tier to give the access to your partner, there's a chat in there that says partner names be here. Just put their Discord name in there and the mods will take care of it.
Yeah.
Shout out to the mods who are doing their thing.
They are on it. We are also active in the Discord.
Yeah, very.
We interact with you guys. We bullshit, talk back and forth, get ideas from you, constructive criticism. We're looking for like goofy content, and we need questions or ideas. We ask you guys. So yes, you do lose your access to the Discord if you don't pay for Patreon. The reason that the Discord is paid access is because we don't want people in there just trying to ruffle feathers.
Right.
And troll and cause disruptions.
Or take advantage of our time.
Correct.
Because this is a business for us.
This is.
All right. And back to the book.
And back to the book. So number 7 is not tied to a blurb. I'm just going to say it. So even though it's just you and your significant other, people who plan out conversations and they have a million different things that they're prepared for and to have a response to, this applies to you. So even though it's just you and your SO in the conversation, in reality, there's the SO in your mind that you've been arguing with and the 3 versions of you with the 3 different responses that they have.
Right.
So you're not really present in the moment absorbing the information. You have your perspectives in your mind that you're ready to just get with it.
Yeah.
So I hope that made sense to everybody because I didn't read the excerpt from the book.
People do that.
They really do that. And they're so focused on everything that they've created in their mind. They're not hearing what their significant other is saying because you're already angry at what you've made up in your head.
Right. Well, we've gotten emails from people too that are like, I knew I needed to have this conversation and I dreaded it. So I worked myself up over it so much and got so anxious that I ended up not having the conversation and I won't talk about it with him because I'm afraid I was going to react. Like,
And in all reality, he doesn't even know that
it's a problem.
it's a problem.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because of those what ifs. Mm-hmm. I tell people all the time, don't worry until there's reason to worry. Mm-hmm. You giving yourself a whole bunch of stress and anxiety is cashing a check on a debt you don't owe. Don't do that.
Pikachu just said, y'all are on the big TV, radio's off in the nail shop.
Yeah, she said a minute ago there was over 40 people watching us. Shout out to that nail salon.
What up, nail salon? I need to get my nails done. Thank you for that reminder. I have to get a pedicure too. Can I do that this week?
I don't care.
Okay.
Book.
Okay.
Focus, woman. Focus.
So I have this marked to be read, so I'm going to read it.
Okay.
For those people who view negotiation as a battle of arguments, it's the voices in their own head that are overwhelming them. When they are not talking, they're thinking about their argument, and when they are talking, they are making their argument. So there have definitely been points throughout my days where I've had to literally stop moving myself. The kids will be running around me. I will put my hands out and be like, stop. Because there is so much noise. When my mind gets overwhelmed, it's like TV static. And that's all I hear. Everything is up to volume 10. There's TV static. I can't hear myself think. I'm hearing my blood rushing in my ears and I'm super hyper focused on my breathing and like too much is going on. So I have to literally stop myself and take a moment to quiet that noise that's going on in my mind to reposition myself in the earth. When you're outside in the woods, it's really silence. There's wind, you hear little animal critters and chirpings and whatnot. Any noise that you hear in your head that's in your head. The world is peaceful in that moment. You're the chaos. So when you take that second to breathe and gather your thoughts and become the peace that's on the outside of your existence, that's when you're able to get back into that rational, logical thinking. Make sense? Okay.
It took everything I had not to make a joke about Eugene Levy, the show we were watching last night about being in the woods and like, because of everything. What was that? What was that? Oh my God.
I'm so jealous of that man.
Dude is a trip. Anyways.
He got to do some really cool things just because it's pushing him out of his comfort zone. So the goal is to identify what your counterparts actually need, either monetarily, emotionally, or otherwise, and get them feeling safe enough to talk and talk and talk some more about what they want. So that was from the book. My thought on that was, do not respond in an attacking manner or in a defensive one. Like I said before, be inquisitive, be calm. The goal is to talk and make progress, not to get them to shut down. So I need to reread that blurb again.
While you read that, I'm gonna add on to that conversation. There is a tactic that is used in most business situations when there is silence to not speak.
Right.
When you're in a conflict like that and someone is having issues, there's silence there. Somebody's going to break that silence.
Because they're sitting with their thoughts and it's uncomfortable.
Right. So when you are having somebody that's explaining themselves to you and they're trying to release that emotional nonsense that's going on in their head, shut the fuck up. Just sit there. Because they're going to pause. They're going to wait for you to say something. And while you're processing, if you truly process, just wait. They're going to continue talking.
Yeah.
And if they're not repeating themselves, eventually they're going to give you the actual root of what the problem is because they're working through shit as they're verbalizing everything.
They're processing out loud.
You give yourself 15 or 20 minutes of just letting somebody process all their shit. By the end of it, you're going to know what the actual fucking problem is and you can have a basic conversation instead of emotional back and forth as they're working through what's going on.
Right. Correct. Blurb in the book, going too fast is one of the mistakes all negotiators are prone to making. And what I took from that was pushing somebody to talk when they are not ready. So when you rush a conversation, when you want to just get it over with and come to whatever conclusion it's going to be, and I use conclusion specifically instead of resolution, you are avoiding actually being productive with the conversation. When somebody isn't ready to talk and you continue to push them, all you're going to do is make them more angry and have more of a negative bias towards you.
Right.
Because you're ignoring their needs in that moment because you want to satisfy the panic within you to have a conclusion to the conversation.
Right. That's also a trauma response.
It is a trauma response. Anything else to add to that?
That really falls back on the don't worry until you have a reason to worry. That can come down to being defensive too.
Yeah.
When somebody comes at you and doesn't use I statements or they use I statements incorrectly, because we get emails all the time where they're like, I use I statements. I told him, I feel like this when you do this. I'm like, that's not a fucking I statement. You put an I statement in front of a you statement, you negated your shit. That's like going, but it's not the same thing. Natural reaction is to get defensive.
Correct.
But if you just pause, let them get that shit out, you're going to find the root of the issue is not something that you need to be defensive of, but something you can resolve.
In those moments where somebody says, I feel like this when you do that.
Yeah.
A way to approach that conversation is I've recognized when this happens, I feel this way.
Right. Because you're not throwing shade.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's how you use I statements because you're making it about you and not about what they're doing. Yep.
All righty. Next blurb. On a mostly unconscious level, we can understand the minds of others not through any kind of thinking, but through quite literally grasping what the other is feeling. So, what I took from that was, Even when you're hurt, remove your emotion and put yourself in your partner's shoes. And an example of that is you work too much. So a man comes home from work, he's been exhausted all day, he's going through it, he hasn't slept decently in 2 months, and he knows when he steps foot through that door, there's going to be problems. And then she hits him with, you work too much. Of course you're going to get offended by that.
Yeah.
I'm killing myself to provide a home for you, to give you money to be able to go grocery shopping, everything that's going on. And in this scenario specifically, it's a stay-at-home wife. For clarification for anybody in the chat, well, I work too. Adapt this to your situation.
Right.
This is a fluid analogy. We can swap it up a little bit. In that moment, that husband can take a step back because there's always going to be a bigger person in a conversation. There always will be. If he were to just take a step back and acknowledge his anger and say, okay, but why is she saying this? This is really the only issue she ever comes to me about is that I work too much. And then say, okay, do you miss me or something?
Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what that is.
Right.
The real question is do you think he fucking wants to work that much?
No man wants to work that much.
If I could get away with working 10 hours a week and live the life that we live and we could spend the rest of our lives doing the other hours of our week together, game the fuck on. Nobody wants to work 80 hours a week.
Why do you do it?
Because I want to give you the life that you deserve. I do it because I have goals for myself and because I believe you deserve a certain quality of life. And if I can't provide that, somebody else can. So I'm going to fucking kill myself to give you everything that I feel you deserve. And one day we're going to have a giant stack in the fucking bank and I'll work 10 hours a week. And that 10 hours will be me delegating responsibilities to everyone else for 4 hours while we record for 6 hours. When was the last time I did a tattoo or a body piercing? It's been years.
You tattooed me like 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah. It's been years.
Yeah.
That business is stable and doing its thing, and I get residual passive income, and all I have to do is make phone calls. Hey, this bill needs to be paid. Can you drop by the bank? Can you do this? That's done. That business is self-running at this point. It is a turnkey business, and we're thriving on it. We're now building the podcast. It's getting to the point where we are going to record 3 to 6 hours a week, and that's going to be the end of it.
Yeah.
But it takes time to get there. So the last 6 months where we've been recording and editing and doing the 50, 60-hour work weeks, that's diminished. You're getting the life you want.
Yeah.
It takes time to build empires. You can't just get that shit overnight. And there are men out there who want the relationship that we have and the dynamic where they get a stay-at-home wife who gets to be a mother to their children instead of, a working class drone, and he's killing himself to fucking do it. So when women come with that, you work too much, instead of saying, babe, I miss you, you really think he wants to be out there fucking killing himself like that? Missing kids things and not being present.
I was just getting ready to say, not only is he missing time with you, he recognizes that his kids are not going to know him the way that he wants them to know him.
Yep. Think of all the life lessons those kids are missing out on because he's working the way that he's working to provide that life for the 2 of you, 3 of you, 4 of you, however many kids y'all got.
Those life lessons can still be had. They're not going to happen the same way they would happen with a stay-at-home mom.
Yep.
Okay, moving on. Forget the assertive voice for now, except in very rare circumstances. Using it is like slapping yourself in the face while you're trying to make progress. So an assertive voice, like... all I'm thinking of is like a drill sergeant.
Are we talking like a now drill sergeant or like Full Metal Jacket drill sergeant? Because there's definitely a difference.
Full Metal Jacket, drill sergeant is definitely like the extreme of what I'm picturing.
Okay.
When I think of...
Choke yourself.
So in the context that he uses the assertive voice, that is like good cop, bad cop.
Right.
Right? So when he says assertive voice, he means bad cop. Here's the consequences, get your shit together. If you don't comply, we're going to come in there guns a-blazing. So in using that voice, you're signaling dominance onto your counterpart who will either aggressively or passive-aggressively push back against attempts to be controlled.
Right. Fuck, we talk about that constantly.
Yes. So having a conversation versus an argument. You can't go versus when you do this, it makes me uncomfortable. or when you put yourselves in these situations, it makes me uncomfortable. So the assertive voice is, you can't go to the bar. You can't dress like that in public.
Yeah.
The correct approach to those kinds of things is, I know you enjoy doing this. When you go to the bar without me, it makes me feel uncomfortable because I'm not there to protect you.
You want to talk about a strong relationship? The difference in those two scenarios say a lot about a fucking relationship.
It does.
Because I don't like the bar thing.
Right.
That's well known. I don't hide that shit. But I've never once asked you not to go. I told you I was uncomfortable with it so that you could make a decision on whether or not you were going to do something or put me first.
Right.
And you chose to put me first and you haven't been to the bar since. That scenario strengthened our relationship because had you been like, fuck it, I don't give a shit. I'm going to the bar with my girls and getting drunk. I don't give a fuck how you feel.
You can't control me.
Mental note. She don't give a fuck how I feel.
Yeah.
Dope. So when she wants something and she wants to be a priority, do I really need to make her a priority or should I go ahead and make myself first in that scenario? Petty spaghetti. Like, those things fucking matter. When you make a decision to put your partner's feelings first over one of your own needs, regardless of how you feel about it in the moment, you are strengthening your relationship. And it's not about control. It's about going, hey, I recognize that this makes you uncomfortable. And when I fucking said I do, I meant that shit. I'm not going to put you in a situation where you're not happy.
Right. Ooh, where did I make the rest of my notes? All right, this one is a pretty long excerpt.
Okay.
Excerpt.
Good. It means I get to listen to you read and I don't have to talk for a minute.
Excerpt. Blurb. I'm sticking with blurb.
Give you the screen.
Oh, thank you. Ooh, my hair does look pretty decent today. Okay. It's a phenomenon and now a technique that follows a very basic but profound biological principle. We fear what's different and are drawn to what's similar. As the saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. Mirroring, then, when practiced consciously, is the art of insinuating similarity. Trust me, a mirror signals to another unconsciousness. You and I are alike. Once you're attuned to the dynamic, you'll see it everywhere. Couples walking on the street with their steps matching in perfect synchrony. Friends in a conversation at a park, both nodding their heads and crossing the legs at the same time. These people are, in a word, connected. While mirroring, it is most often associated with forms of nonverbal communication, especially body language. As negotiators, a mirror focuses on the words and nothing else. Not the body language, not the accent, not the tone of delivery, just the words. And from that, I have a different thought process now when I read the thought process I wrote down. So, dating type. Won't leave due to comfort, fear of having to work on ourselves. The people that you've been dating doesn't push you, have higher expectations of you. So 1, you never have a reason to grow, and 2, you can't disappoint them. And I don't feel like that was the correct.
So do it again and tell us your thoughts after reading it this time because you just said it was different.
I wondered why I labeled that as 12. Oh man, that means all my notes are out of order now. That sucks. So in reading that, negotiators don't have the option to pay attention to body language because it's all done over the phone. So a plus between you and your SO is you guys can meet in person and have those conversations. You can pay attention to that body language. If they are not comfortable verbalizing how they are feeling, their body can't lie about it. If it is over the phone, for example, you're talking with your mom, you're talking with your dad, sister, cousin, brother, and there is a conflict, all you have are their words. So you really have to pay attention to what they're saying, not what they're yelling, like not that their tone is raised, not that their volume is up. What do you want to say?
That's what I took away from this book. I read this book years ago.
Yeah.
That was the biggest takeaway that I got from this entire book. Shut up. Let people fucking talk and listen to the way they word themselves.
Right. Not the tones and shit.
Right.
The actual words that people are saying,
Right.
not your feelings attached to the fucking words. The words that are leaving their mouth.
Yep. And that's why when we get emails, I'm like, wait a minute, did you hear that? They said this specifically. Like, that's not normal speech patterns. That was intentional kind of shit.
Okay, so this one does match the note I made. So I'm going to read it.
Okay.
What I liked about the second guy, Bobby, was that he didn't try to play any games with me on the phone. He was a straight shooter, and so was I. And we were able to respond to one another in the same kind. The same way I'd get back whatever I put out, he was getting back whatever he was putting out, so I was with him on this. Experience told me that all I had to do was keep him talking and he'd come around. We'd find a way to get him out of the bank with or without the dude who initiated the bank robbery. So this dude, Bobby, was an unwilling accomplice in this bank robbery, and he just wanted to get the hell out of there. And they were trying to do it in a way to not alert the dude who did initiate it the fact that he was abandoning him. And the note that I took from that was, you get what you put out. If you're direct and your SO is direct, you'll achieve a resolution sooner.
I got don't be a partner in crime with somebody that's not willing to truly commit. If we're going to do this shit, let's do this shit.
Okay. So, yes.
That's relationship.
That is a relationship.
Yep. Don't half step. If we're going to do this, let's fucking do this. Bonnie and Clyde, let's go.
Fuck. Why
what? Why what?
are we doing this right now? We could be doing other things.
That doesn't really work, babe. These microphones pick up on the sides and back too.
Oh no.
Before you get back to that, AJ sent me a message a minute ago and said, working from home on this podcast has changed my relationship with my kids. In terms of the conversation that we were having earlier, I didn't want to get too far away from that. I actually wanted to say that out loud.
I can imagine that.
That falls into exactly what we were talking about.
Yeah.
Like that's dope as fuck to me.
Okay. I'm so hungry.
Yeah, I am too. We'll get through this and order lunch, and then we'll interview Dakota.
No one on the SWAT team thought to remind anyone on the negotiation. I hate that we can't cut this shit out. It's live.
I leave a lot of that in anyways.
What?
Yeah, people enjoy that. They think it's funny. It just goes to show you don't actually watch our podcast.
No, why would I?
I leave a lot of your slip-ups in there. People find that shit funny.
You bastard.
Yeah.
I had no idea. I'm over here thinking, oh, I can say stupid shit because he's going to cut it.
Why, well, I mean, I cut some of it, but why do you think we get so many like potato jokes and like the frustrated and the beneficial?
Because I said that eons ago and people liked it.
Right. I leave that shit in the podcast for a reason. People find that shit funny.
I feel so betrayed. I had no clue. And there was a lack of due diligence on my end because I'm not checking anything.
It's working. We have almost 80,000 subscribers. It's not that big of a deal. When you say really off the wall shit, I cut it. Don't worry. It's the slip ups that I leave in there.
Like that.
Yeah.
Wow. I feel like you all have been lying to me. Every single one of you. Nobody told me.
That's funny.
Okay.
Paige Kane said it makes you relatable.
It makes me relatable.
A lot of us do this all the time.
That's fantastic. You know what I'm really excited about? Because I just saw that Josh said I've been spreading word of your podcast all over South Carolina, which I love.
Yeah.
Annoy people with it. We now have business cards that we are going to pop in.
With the shirt release.
With the shirt orders when you guys get them. So I'm going to be slipping in some business cards for you guys to pass out.
Yeah. And we will be doing our next shirt drop June 15th.
Correct.
I really want to get back into that, but I feel I need to address this. Emily McKenzie said, I love you two. Might be a dumb question, but is this aimed at heterosexual couples only? Advice like this is universal. I just only hear men and women, so I was curious. If you only hear men and women and you know that it's universal, why would you do that?
Right.
Why wouldn't you just go, okay, I can apply this to my relationship because it's communication based and everyone fucking talks to each other instead of trying to push an agenda? Because I really feel like that's what that question is doing. You and I are in a heterosexual relationship. That's what we have. So that's what we speak on.
Right.
If I was fucking dudes and that was my teammate was a guy,
that would be the podcast.
That would be the podcast.
So I don't think that's what that question was. I think that person is just so into everything that's happening right now, they felt the need to ask that question.
Yeah, there's no need to ask that question. If you can apply anything that we say to your life, regardless of what you believe in, do that. So, and if not, I'm sorry.
we have actually covered emails with people who are trans,
Right.
or they're with another woman, they're with another man. We had somebody, a man who was with a trans man, and we covered the conflicts in the relationship, because conflicts don't care about
Right. They don't give a
who
shit
you
about
love,
it.
who you're in a relationship with. Communication is universal to everybody, and I hate that we have to keep having this conversation.
I don't give a shit what people do with their lives. I truly
know.
don't. If you're happy, be fucking happy.
Right.
If you're miserable, listen to what we're saying and get fucking happy. That's the important part.
Yeah. If anything I say can apply to you, and you're not using it to manipulate, and you're not using it to take advantage of anybody, and you're not using it to hurt other people, adapt it however you need to.
Go team.
Our whole focus in this podcast is to make people happy, is to help people find their happiness. We don't care what you identify as.
Right.
We don't care.
Who you date, who you're fucking, none of that shit matters
No.
to us. Well, unless it's
Personal
a child.
growth.
We don't fuck with the kid thing.
Oh, yeah, no, we would have exchanges over that. Okay. No one on the SWAT team thought to remind anybody on the negotiating team of this one significant detail. So for a couple long beats, Bobby couldn't get out, and I got a sick feeling in my stomach that whatever progress we had just made, with this guy would be for nothing. So what he is referring to is the fact that when they first got there, they barricaded the door. And nobody told the negotiating team, hey, there's like 40 locks on that front door, 2 desks, a chair, and somebody parked their car in front of it. So if this guy is coming out, we're going to need some time to
Right.
clear the way. So they just got to Bobby and they were like, yeah, man, just walk out. There's going to be no issues. Nobody's going to shoot you. He's not going to come after you. Just walk out of the front door and we're golden. And Bobby gets to the front door and it's
900 locks.
and everybody's having a meltdown. So from that, I wrote, couples argue because the wife wants to host a party. Oh, this is a scenario. So
We're figuring this shit out together, guys. I have no idea what she's going to say either.
I wrote this 3 weeks ago.
New patron.
Patron. So scenario, a couple argues because the wife wants to host a party, right? We're going to have fun. Husband doesn't want people in his house.
Oh, I can relate to that.
So the party is, we just moved into the house. We finally have it set up. We got a new patio set. The fire looks amazing. Like, we have to have people over and show off what we have. Like, let's have a party.
No.
So they have a back and forth. I literally wrote down blah, blah, blah. He agrees and asks, so when are we going to do this? When is this happening? And she goes, oh, I was thinking this Saturday. And he goes, well, remember, I had plans to go out with my brother. You've known about this for 3 weeks. So in that instance, that 3 weeks is the blocks on their door.
Right.
She thinks she's good in the go. They had this massive conversation and he's ready for it. And now there's another massive obstacle because you guys haven't really had the communication of, I have this going on in 3 weeks. That's why gentle reminders are so important.
Oh, my fucking God, they are. Let me tell you, especially when it comes to schedules.
Yes.
What do we got going on today, babe? That's how we start our morning every fucking
single morning.
Yeah,
It is,
because you'll
yeah.
tell me 3 times. I'm not remembering shit.
I am very much the person because I have learned if I remind anybody, nobody has good memory. Nobody. And I have learned if I don't give anybody a gentle reminder, that shit's going to blow up in my face. So I do 3 reminders.
Yeah.
Hey, this is happening. I'll do it over text message too. You didn't tell me that. Remember, I called you and I was like, hey, after I call you, I'm going to text you in 2 weeks and be like, hey, remember this? I don't play games.
And I don't remember, so you don't have to play games.
Yes.
You have to be very direct.
So every morning, it is literally, good morning, babe, little kiss. What are you doing today?
It is our day every morning. Yep.
It's crazy how busy we are.
It's crazy that we're able to make it function just by talking to each other.
Yeah.
And in that scenario where dude was barricaded, that breakdown in communication is the fucking problem.
Yes.
Yep.
I'm so glad that my thoughts are able to be understood.
Yep.
Number 16, I highlighted a single sentence out of 2 paragraphs.
Okay.
And the highlighted sentence is born out of frustration and panic. And I think that speaks volumes on its own because everybody at some point has had a reaction purely out of panic.
Yep.
And I wrote down that there will always be external factors that make you feel a certain way. And in that instance is frustration and panic. If it becomes directed at your partner, you must apologize and change your tone. If you become frustrated with your significant other and you do not react out, if you become frustrated with your SO, do not react out of that feeling. So many conflicts arise because one person acts out of frustration. I do that.
Oh, no. No way.
I am taking massive ownership right now, guys.
You don't ever just not respond to an emotional mindset?
I do it. It was me, Your Honor. So I do. I react out of frustration. And I've really been thinking on it because there was a stint where it was like a regular daily thing where you were like, babe, like what the fuck's going on with you? And it's been getting better. And there are times where I get so into my emotional mindset that I don't even recognize that I'm frustrated. And the moment that I do recognize it, all of my energy, all of the fucking fighter pilots up here are focused on conducting myself in a manner that is still graceful, even though I'm feeling frustrated.
Yeah.
Make sense?
It does.
Can you tell that I'm working on it?
Mm-hmm. I can actually. Okay. I actually can because you get to the point now where instead of going emotional logic or emotional mind word vomit, you go, I need a hug.
Yes.
And then I hug you. And you go, this is what's going on. And then you are emotional still. 9 times out of 10, when you tell me you need a hug, you're crying when you do it.
Yes.
Mentally, I know, okay, she's crying. She's upset. She's about to word vomit on me. But in that compression and the hug, that moment where we just have a silence, when you unload on me afterwards, it is not an emotional wreck. It's been, you've come calculated. You've come to me with intent.
Yes.
It's not just blah, 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 blah.
Well, so yeah, there is the intent. Me asking you for the hug, that is my intent.
Right.
Because if I don't just say I need a hug, I'm going to start unleashing on the fact that you haven't recognized that I'm panicking when you can't recognize what's going on inside of me.
Right.
Right? So when I ask you for a hug, the walls are crumbling in my brain. Like there is total devastation. The world is ending. And I know what I'm about to say is off the wall shit. I can't say that because I can't take it back and it's not going to make sense. So I just ask for a hug. And then you hug me and then I cry for a second. And that compression, when I'm overwhelmed and I'm overly frustrated and I'm overstimulated, my whole skin feels like TV static. Like I feel like particles of me are just floating around in the universe and I'm expanding. My chaos is expanding around me. It's going to start encompassing things. And that is what happens when you don't get your shit under control. Your chaos starts to encompass other people. And that's why you and your partner tend to have bad days.
Yep.
So I hit you with that, I need that hug. And when you hug me in that compression, I feel my particles coming back to me.
So I'm the glue that holds us together?
You're the glue that fucking holds me together. So I get that compression and you're holding me and I'm able to calmly think now.
Yeah.
You know, my senses are coming back and I'm not all over the place and the world is not ending and everything just kind of like freezes for a moment. And I'm standing in my mind. This sounds so stupid to say out loud. So the buildings are crumbling. Bricks are fucking everywhere. That all freezes. So I am like in that moment of walking through everything frozen in time, total chaos, just frozen. And I'm like, I am not this. This is my surrounding, but I am not this chaos. And then I'm able to actually look around and see what my problem is. And then I'm able to tell you what's going on.
Right.
Did all of that make sense?
Yep.
I've never verbalized that.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
Well, I mean, it's good that you're able to verbalize it. It's good that you're able to recognize your shit and you're working through it because a lot of people recognize their shit and just accept it.
Yeah.
This is who I am. I have trauma. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to change.
You know, I recognize I'm also so easily frustrated because in my childhood, I wasn't taught how to identify emotions.
Yeah.
And, you know, whenever I would get overly emotional or I would have a moment, the person I would go to would react out of anger. So that's how I would react, out of frustration and anger. And I'm trying to break that habit in me. So that's what I'm working on, is breaking what I was taught in my childhood, which in turn was taught to everybody else in my family in their childhood.
Right.
It's breaking generational curses.
Give me 1 second.
Okay. Yeah, we are definitely not made for children. Definitely not made for children.
Depends on the child.
Well, she said that she can't watch it around her 2-year-old because the 2-year-old will be dropping F-bombs soon.
Yeah.
With how frequent we say it now.
Well, you put your headphones in.
A little AirPod.
Yep. Adult conversations. A 2-year-old wouldn't understand this anyway, so we are not made for kids.
Correct.
All right, I'm done. I just needed to reply to her about paperwork. And I didn't want to try to have that conversation while trying to pay attention because I wouldn't have gotten it.
Okay. The ability to get inside the head and eventually under the skin. Disclaimer. This is not to manipulate your partner. What I am about to read is not for you to be a little sneaky snake and try to get in their head and figure out what makes them tick, and an advantage for you to get what you want as an end result with them at a deficit. Capiche? I've been doing that with the kids, when I get super serious.
I know.
I've been
And
capiche?
it's funny to hear them try to say it back to you.
I have been giving them words that they can identify of, I am getting serious. There's about to be consequences. Because it makes it, there's not that serious tone or that anger. I'm goofy about it, capiche? And they recognize, okay, she's still being goofy, but she just said the word. Okay, so the ability to get inside the head and eventually under the skin of your counterpart depends on these techniques and willingness to change your approach based on the new evidence along the way. So, as an FBI negotiator, you would want to get in their head and under their skin and manipulate them into thinking that, yeah, you're going to get what you want if you just come over here. In this instance...
I have to pause you.
Okay.
$50 super chat from Jessica Fiscus. Thank you for this content. It really is moving mountains in my relationship. We are hearing each other now. I understand the level up.
I love that.
Okay. We are hearing each other now.
Yes.
Not listening. We are hearing. Mm-hmm. Yep. That shit matters. Shit matters.
That is amazing.
Love that.
I love it when people understand the level up. You don't understand the level up until you experience it.
And it doesn't take much.
It really doesn't.
Just a little bit of understanding.
There was a time in our dating phase where our nonverbal communication, our body language leveled up and we both felt it.
Yeah.
We had that moment and then you had to go off somewhere. And I was thinking about it, you texted me and you're like, did you feel that?
That actually happened.
And I was like, oh my God, you noticed it too?
That's funny.
Such a don't moment.
That shit made our public communication a whole lot different because we don't have to communicate verbally anymore. When we're around people or we're out in public, there are simple body language, looks, gestures. Mm-hmm. Some of that was by design, some of it was not, but.
Okay. So the rest of this, I have one more point to make and then we're done with this chapter of the book.
Okay.
The rest of it is kind of just a summarization of the chapter. So towards the end of it, he gives a couple of examples of things. So my notes verbatim are, boss views tech as a lazy way. So the scenario. There's a boss and he views digital anything as lazy. He wants to have the physical copies. He wants to feel like there's actually something productive being done, old school. So he asks the secretary to stay late to print 2 copies of all of the paperwork. And she knows this is something that he does regularly. He just makes up shit to keep people late at work.
Okay.
This has been an ongoing issue, and she came to whomever she went to and was like, I don't know how to handle this situation anymore. I'm getting home 2 to 3 hours later than I should be, and my life is falling apart. So she initiated the mirroring technique. So she mirrored and said, I'm sorry, you want 2 copies? And that pushes that person to elaborate. So when you literally just repeat back to them what they just said to you in a question form, they're going to elaborate on what they said. As an example, with the kids and they're really going through it, I asked them, how are you feeling? I'm feeling sad. You're feeling sad? I'm feeling sad because.
Right.
And they go on whatever tangent they're going to go on. And then they get their feelings out and then everything is better because they feel acknowledged. So the boss would go on to say, yes, one for us and then one for the customer. So he just gave a little bit more information. So she goes, I'm sorry, I'm just trying to understand. You're saying that the client asked you for a copy and that is why you're asking me to make two? Because you want one for filing and then one because the client asked. To that, he says, well, I'm just going to have to double check, but make one for us because I don't think the client said that they wanted one. I'm just going to have to go confirm that. And to that, she answers, thanks for checking. Where should I put the one for us? To where he says, you can put it anywhere. Anywhere? Question mark? You just want me to put it fucking anywhere? Yes, anywhere. Well, actually, second thought, I don't really know where you should put them because the whole office is a mess right now. Just go ahead and do the digital backups.
How is it that this guy is in charge?
I don't know, but it happens. There are people like that in leadership, boss management positions. But that's a really good example of the mirroring. When somebody is asking you to do something absolutely ludicrous and you repeat back to them just what they are saying to you and it makes them elaborate. I don't know if I'm experiencing tinnitus or something right now, but my ear won't stop ringing. It's all I'm hearing. It's so loud. I can't even hear my thoughts. Okay. So when you repeat back to somebody what they just said to you in a questioning manner of saying, I don't understand, I need you to explain further, it will force them to verbalize what they are thinking. And if it's absolutely ludicrous, they're going to recognize how stupid their request really is to you right now, that it's time wasting, that it doesn't need to be done, that they're just trying to exude a sense of control over you. Not about it. And that's it.
That's it.
Anything you want to add or say?
Not to any of that, no. There's lots of super chats to read. And
All right, let's get to the super chat.
I have things that somebody said, try plugging your ears. It helps me and my boyfriend get rid of the ringing.
Okay.
While you were reading that, I looked over and saw that Mariah Road wrote, how do I hear and retain? I have the hardest time with that. And then AJ responded, and I told him to screen grab that. If you have a hard time retaining what you hear, repeat it back to people.
Yeah, you have to repeat it back.
I'm an audible learner. I can pick up almost anything audibly. But if I have to read it, I'm struggling. So much so that I make you read me shit a lot of the time.
Correct.
It's also why I don't like building furniture. Because even though there's pictures there and I have to read to understand, I have to read it out loud because I retain things audibly. So if you're somebody that can't retain things or you're not hearing things properly when somebody's talking to you, it either means you're not paying attention or you struggle to learn things audibly. And if you repeat it back to them, it becomes a conversation versus a lecture. I guarantee you that you retain conversations because if you were like, bitch, so-and-so said blah, blah, blah,
Right.
you'd be like, no, girl, blah, blah, blah.
Right.
And you remember all that shit.
I think you're checking out.
Yeah.
You're disassociating a little bit.
Yep. I think that shit matters. All right, let's read some super chats.
Super chats.
Man, there's a lot of them. All right. Gremlin Girl. Well done on 1,000 subs on Patreon. Love you guys. For those of you who don't know, we are giving away a 1 hour
bullshit hour
bullshit session with somebody in Discord for the 1,000 subs on Patreon.
Yes.
Heaven Heard, $10. My boyfriend of 4 years does not seem to work towards meeting my expectations or boundaries and talked about often. He does not seem to retain the info. Sounds like selfishness to me.
I'm going
Sounds
to
like,
need you to repeat that because I didn't retain any of it.
see? My boyfriend of 4 years does not seem to work towards meeting my expectations or boundaries. And talked about often, he does not seem to retain the info.
No, he just doesn't care. It's been 2 years. I'm pretty sure you sound like a broken record
4
at
years.
this point. 4 years.
4 years.
That shit's on repeat. There's no way that he goes, oh, I just forgot. No, that's not. There's no dedication there.
Yep.
No try.
There's also questions there. Are you nagging? Are you complaining? Are your expectations and boundaries unrealistic or unreasonable? Are you trying to change who he is to meet a version of him
Right.
that you believe he can be?
I was getting ready to say, are you hitting him with things that were never discussed in the beginning of the relationship that all of a sudden are now an issue that you were okay with the whole time?
All right. Mallory said $10. Chris, your words about not bringing your family into the family you are building was so empowering to us. He and I always have each other's backs, and we love that you two have reiterated that.
I love that.
Yep. Nelson did an early access. Great Wolf Tactical. When it gets there will be sooner than you think. I ain't surprised, bro. I love that the people in our community have more faith in this than we do.
They determined that my content violated whatever guideline, and my access has been removed to go live.
For how long?
It will be restored on June 7th at 11:30 a.m. This is why I don't go live on TikTok.
Yeah.
People mass report, and then I get restricted. It's absolutely ridiculous.
TikTok's a fucking joke anyways. Sadie said, your channel has changed my life. I'm going into my first relationship in 5 years. We will be watching your channel religiously and applying your advice. Love that. I answered that one. Talked about that one. Charity, $1.99 said, one up. M. Greer said, my master's psych class loves talking about your controversial takes.
Psych class?
What is our takes? Why is our takes controversial? That's what I want to know.
What is
that was
so
very
controversial
specific.
about our takes?
M. Greer, if you are still in our chat, what makes our takes controversial? Gremlin Girl, $1.99. You guys are changing lives. Thank you, Sadie, for another $1.99. So taking notes while listening has helped me so much. And then Julia Slusher, $4.99. Thank you guys for giving me better tools to improve my relationship. We are now listening to each other and working together to be better. You know, I hashtag teamwork in every one of our podcasts and every one of my TikToks. Teamwork gets, well, not everyone.
Yeah.
Most of the time, teamwork gets hashtagged. Because this isn't a one-sided thing. You can't have a functioning marriage and it be one-sided. Yep. Does anybody have anything else they would like to talk about or add before we jump off of here? I would like to see what that M. Greer says about what's so controversial about us. And then I got to be honest, I'm probably going to jump off of here so that we can eat lunch before doing the interview. I would like to be off of here by 1 o'clock. So just saying.
I'm leaving at 4 today.
Okay.
There was requested extra play time at school. So
Well, that gives us a little bit of extra time with the interview. She said, I think it's the delivery that feels controversial. The site community is very kitty gloves because it's our jobs. I think the devotion to the accountability of self is still very controversial. It's not, though, if you look into reality therapy and choice theory, which is very much a thing right now. And
Yeah.
it's huge in the community, the therapy community. I got to be honest, the whole treat everybody with kid gloves thing blows my fucking mind.
You know, I'm over it. I can understand being empathetic and understanding. I'm not going to blow smoke up someone's skirt. I'm not going to pander, and I'm not going to validate irrational thoughts.
Yeah.
You know, if you can't handle a conversation that your actions are the reason that you're here, weak-minded,
Yeah.
yeah.
I have no problem telling somebody that if they're a dumbass, that they're a dumbass.
Yeah.
I'm not a therapist. This is not like a thing where I have to worry about somebody pulling my fucking certifications. If I think you're an idiot, I'm going to tell you that. I obviously would be nicer about it most
Right.
of the time, but sometimes not. Somebody asked if the interview that we're doing with Dakota will be live. It will not be live, but it will be posted to our YouTube page within the next 3 days. We have another interview that we're doing on the 9th with that therapist that does reality therapy and choice theory. That will be live 2 to 3 days after we do the interview. I give myself a 2 to 3 day window on editing, even though I'm normally done editing right
Day
after the
of,
episode.
yeah.
But in the event that I want to go do something or I just don't feel like it, that's great. I'm going to just give myself that window. I also will say that I'm almost positive that I got that AI thing figured the fuck out. And
Yeah.
after we're done with this, I'm going to drop all this in. And I'm going to, because these are all recording.
Right.
Even OBS. So if I can
Yeah.
drop all of this into the chat and make it do its thing, game the fuck on. Because that's going to save me hours of editing a week.
Is
So
it editing clips or is it editing the podcast?
it'll be editing the full podcast. It edited the entire 3-hour traditional values conversation that we had that's going for the side piece that we
Right.
posted early to Patreon. But the audio was off because I only had one stereo file instead of individual audio files.
I'm so confused. So how does it know what to take out of the podcast and what to leave?
What do you mean?
Is it editing clips or is it editing the actual podcast?
It's editing the podcast. It's cutting us. So if I'm talking, it'll be on me. If you're talking, it'll be on you. So if I run that through the generator and it edits all of that, I then just have to go back to my notes where I'm like, we have to clip that. So an hour and 3 minutes, I need to clip that part so that I can go and clip that out of there. But it's doing the hard work.
Okay.
So, still getting supers. Let's see. Zency 1999 said, plant stuff for peaches. But thank you both for absolutely everything. The growth I've made since finding y'all is amazing. Cerulean Firefly, loving this live. I usually watch the replays too because of the auditory processing issues. I learn more on the second watch, often going for a third or fourth watch. Misty sent us $2. Julia sent us $9.99. It said, my husband and I are newly married, and I'm trying to introduce your guys' advice into our marriage. It seems to be working. We still have problems, but are working through them together. Thank you so much.
I
Or
love
thank you
that.
to be better. You guys, that's it. That's what marriage is. Marriage is working through your bullshit and not giving up on each other. Ooh, Florence Polly, $2. How do you feel about self-pleasure separately?
We don't do it.
We don't. If that intimacy needs to happen or a release needs to happen, we take care of each other.
When you do that, you are taking away the opportunity for your significant other to fulfill their duty to you.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
We actually had this discussion in the men's group very early on. And like, this falls into the corn conversation or liking thirst traps.
Right.
You are getting attention from someone other than your partner. And you only have a few things in a marriage that is like truly off limits in all other aspects. Taking away the ability to have intimacy fulfilled by your partner puts you in roommate phase. Truly believe that shit.
And if you're doing it because your partner doesn't satisfy you, it's because you're not communicating to them properly.
Yep. It's Yasina said, you came on my FYP and you guys made me connect the dots on what relationship I want when I couldn't figure out how to describe it. I love that. What does it say about the affair of relationships and dating right now? Because the amount of people who are told that what they want is not a good thing, and they're not taught how to express that they want a traditional value or they want a protector or a stay at home or whatever.
Right.
And if they know it, they've been too afraid to talk about it because it's shunned in society. Lily Harper sent us $5, said, Chris, thank you for helping me to better understand what my husband has trying to tell me all along. It's making a difference.
That's dope.
It is dope. Somebody said, Peaches, thank you from the woman that is relearning herself and her husband. You have taught me how I can actually hear him and feed his spiritual needs.
Oh, I love that. I bet he loves that too.
Yes, that's dope. That's dope. Yennefer said, I was just watching my first episode of this podcast, and I got to say the delivery can be controversial, but y'all usually explain things to where it makes sense. I truly believe that controversial shit is because people are so used to being triggered by everything that they're looking for a reason to be offended.
Not even just that. They are so used to people backing down
Right.
and apologizing for being so brash or upfront.
Yeah. I'm very deliberate with what I say.
You know, I had that little stint where I pissed off somebody who has like 2 million followers,
Oh, yeah.
and her people were in my comments blowing my shit up saying I was a white supremacist and all of these other things. I had no idea what the hell was going on. All I said that was her joke was in poor taste.
Yeah.
And people fucking lost their minds on me.
Yeah.
So I went through and I responded to one of the comments and I was like, y'all are really out of your minds. I'm not apologizing for this. She's a comedian. She should understand that not everybody's going to appreciate her jokes.
Right.
You understand that when you recognize you're going to stand up on a stage and tell jokes.
Yep.
Dave Chappelle sees it. Donald Glover has seen it. Like, come on. And people were in the comments going, oh my God, like, I can't believe you didn't back down. You didn't apologize. Why would I?
Emma B wrote, how would you say social media affects unrealistic relationships expectations?
Massively.
I would say that I got to be honest. I don't think that it's unrealistic expectations. I think that social media in itself destroys relationships. I believe that social media in itself is destroying humanity. We know psychologically that on average, most people will have less than 100 relationships over the course of their life. That means best friends, cousins, parents, relationships. Like that's the most our brain can like handle in a lifetime. And we are inundated with other people's drama and bullshit constantly on social media. And we get so caught up in what everyone else is doing that we forget to live our own fucking lives. I believe that shit.
Yeah.
Bethany Baker said, thank you for teaching me about man brain. I have stopped torturing my man because we think differently. That man brain shit is real.
It really fucking is.
Yep.
Yeah. Yep.
It really is. Ooh, that's a good one.
What's a good one?
Do you believe couples, this is from Jesse for $10. Do you believe couples can be sexually incompatible? Example, a man who is vanilla in comparison to his wife.
No.
I do.
Yeah?
I do believe that they can be sexually incompatible. I don't think that they should fucking get married because sex is a really important part of life.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. If we didn't have what we have, I wouldn't feel fulfilled.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Would have to be
So if I was
conversations.
super vanilla and you weren't, we are sexually incompatible. There are men who won't do the things that their women want to do, or women who won't do the things their men want to do because they are uncomfortable with it sexually, or it
Right.
grosses them out, or whatever the case is. I absolutely think that's a thing.
Oh, I thought they meant, can they be in a relationship? And I was
Oh.
like, no, I don't.
Yeah.
I don't foresee how a long-term relationship can come from that because somebody is going to hold a resentment there.
Yep.
Yeah, no, I do agree that they can definitely be incompatible, and you oftentimes see those people get into a relationship and wonder why they don't feel loved.
Yep. Yeah. Yep. Coda for $4.99 said, hello, I'm 18 years old with BPD in a long-term relationship. My boyfriend is a avoidant and I am anxious attachment. This causes anxiety for me. You're 18 years old. What do you mean long-term relationship? How long have you been with your boyfriend at 18 years old? Julia Slusher, do you think you can change someone's work ethic?
Can you change somebody's work ethic? No, you can't change them.
That's it. You can't change shit about someone else.
Yeah,
you can
no.
change you. That's it. You can express your needs to people in a way that it may make them want to do better, but ultimately you can only change you. You can't change other people's shit. Randy Squid, thank you guys for all you are doing. Just found you a few days ago and you are helping me immensely at working through my own crap so that I don't bring it into a new relationship. Boy, let me tell you. Let me fucking tell you. That's it. You go into a relationship carrying a whole lot of baggage. You're looking for a bellhop, not a spouse.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good way to put that.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Virginia said, right, man brain, me, babe, what's wrong? You seem upset. Him, just thinking about the motorcycle parts I want to buy. Fucking preach. My partner and I went through incompatibility issues due to him having testicular cancer for a little while, but it did get better. We were younger, though, in our 20s then. That's scary.
That's a lot.
It is a lot. All right, guys, last chance to get super chats in. We're going to get off here and get some lunch, and then we're going to do this interview. So if you want some questions read or you have something that you want to... that 18-year-old's been together for 2 years.
Oh, wow.
You guys are young as fuck still. There's a whole lot of
Really
life
young,
lessons
yeah.
that's got to come through there. Jennifer said, a lot of people I know need this podcast, and send it to them. I'm going to hit that plug real quick. The best thing that you can do to support our channel is share our content. If you find value here, or you think somebody else is going to find value here, share the fucking content with them. Post it to Facebook, post it to your Instagram and tag us. Stitch or Duet our content on TikTok, however you got to do to get this in the hands of the people that you think might find value. It is the only thing that you can do to support us. It doesn't cost you anything. So click.
Yeah.
If you want to support us financially, we have Patreon, which has a Discord. We talked about that earlier. I'm not going to rehash that. Super chats on YouTube here goes a very long way. And then we have an ability for you to actually give us donations through our website, tobebetter.co. And then we also do the expedited emails, and live coaching is coming. We're still hashing out the details of the document for that so that people know exactly what they're getting themselves into. But we are working on it. If you want an expedited email, that's $50. Those get read on Sunday nights. unless it's like dire, then we will record it as a standalone episode. And then the live calls, the one-on-one sessions will be $150 for the hour.
Yes.
And that can be a couples therapy session if you want, although we're not therapists. We are just two people with opinions who have made a lot of mistakes in life and learn from them. But we figured we would share that information with you guys now. Also, the t-shirts will be dropped. The Ego Kills Talent shirts are getting dropped on June 15th at some point throughout the evening. But we will announce the time during the live chat that night because that'll be a Thursday.
Yes.
Yep.
I almost made a TikTok this morning about the live counseling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. You'll be opening a whole lot of conversation there.
Yeah. How many people are in the chat still?
463.
Oh, wow.
Yep. The Hidden. What's up, Luca? $2. Just wishing you guys a great day. Peace out.
Thank you.
Did you see that comment from Julia?
I do knit. I am currently knitting a cardigan.
Virginia said, I sent this podcast to my brother and he got defensive and said something to the effect of, are you and your husband having problems? No, bro, it's for your toxic marriage too.
Damn, he really went, are you guys going through it?
Yeah, that's funny.
He deflected so hard.
We got a $4.99 from, where'd it go? Mahila Popa?
I like
There
that
was
name.
nothing set there though, so.
All right, so someone keeps asking how to deal with their corn addiction. We can't help you with addiction.
Nope. That's not what we do.
That is, you have to seek professional help for something like that. We can't give you any advice.
Bethany Baker said, guys, I sent a super at the beginning and y'all missed it. Did we? Because that means AJ didn't catch it either. Let's see. The first one I got was, scrolling all the way the fuck up there, was from Josh Wolf was the first one I saw. Oh no, Bethany Baker, $4.99. We read this one. That's who said that, right?
Yeah, Bethany Baker.
Yeah, we read that one. I just don't even bother to look at his phone. I don't want my feeling hurts by my own brain when I know I can trust him. Mm-hmm. That's what's up. Caitlin Morris said, y'all are a breath of fresh air. My boyfriend and I live traditional value and roles, and we get so much backlash regarding how we operate our household. It's amazing to hear others living this life too. Here's a thought, right? If you had an opinion about a gay couple and you wanted to give your opinion, you'd be a bigot and people would fucking shit on you for it. But if you want to give your opinion on somebody who's happy having a traditional relationship, it's perfectly fucking fine.
Right.
The real scenario here is, why does your opinion about somebody else's relationship even matter? Shut the fuck up and live your life. Mm-hmm. Ta-da! Everybody's happy.
Yeah.
I don't understand why that's even a thing. Caitlin, I feel bad for you. You know what you should tell them? Tell them mind your own business. Be like, hey, are you in this relationship? Nope. Then your opinion doesn't matter. Next.
Yep.
Moving along. Moving along. It's so hard not to be mean to people when they're assholes like that in real life.
Yeah.
You're a traditional value relationship? She must be a slave. Oh, she is. She does everything I tell her. Make it sexual, get weird with public displays of affection. Fuck them.
Stop it. We're going to go to jail.
I really don't like humanity.
I know. Me either. It's crazy that people think that I'm this battered woman who doesn't have an opinion and doesn't have a voice, when I literally leave the house more than you do and have a larger social circle. And
oh, yeah. Yep.
It's crazy how people see what they want to see instead of actually seeing what's happening.
Elizabeth Simpson said, how can I get my husband to stop interrupting me every time I want to discuss how I'm feeling or anything else for that matter? Go to our website, tobebetter.co, watch the check-in videos, and then go to the download link and download the PDF and start doing check-ins. That's the answer to that.
Correct.
We got-
My answer was karate chop his throat, and that's not it. That's not the answer. Do what he said.
If I ever come on the show with black eyes, guys, it's because I didn't listen or I interrupted her while she was talking. I'm just saying. All right. Michaela Popa for $20 said, long short. We are together now after 2 years of knowing each other and dating from one, telling me what that he wants to move and marry with me, but seeing him liking different girls' pictures online and BCM avoidant. Advice, please. I don't know what BCM means.
I didn't retain anything you just told me. I don't like not being able to see what you're reading.
There.
Oh, dope. Thank you.
You can read it. It's the
Okay.
top orange box.
Know each other and dating for 1. So you've been dating for 1 year?
Mm-hmm.
Telling me he wants to move and marry me, but seeing him liking other girls' pictures online and BCM. Okay, well,
Does
one,
BCM mean becoming?
I don't know. Maybe becoming avoidant. So what are you going to do with this information?
That's a good question.
He says he wants to marry you and he wants to move in with you, yet he's still giving other women attention on the internet. And if you've told him this bothers you, what are you going to do about it?
Go to our website, tobebetter.co. Watch the check-in video. Download the PDF. Start check-ins. Excuse me.
Okay. In instances like that, you know how you feel in that moment. You know what his actions make you feel in that. It's not lining up with what he's telling you.
Sorry, guys. When you own a business and the phone rings and it's the manager of your business, you don't get to walk away from that and not take the call. So it was quick, though. It was easy because she's actually at Jordan's right now picking up paperwork.
So
Speaking of Jordan, we got a $20 super chat that says, can you guys please tell everyone at my office to stop coming in and asking me questions so I can watch this without being interrupted?
the audacity.
How fucking dare them?
Inconsiderate.
It's funny. Somebody wrote, we all know that Peaches really runs this relationship. She ain't letting no shit go through. Toss. Caitlin Hansen said, birth control method, oral.
Correct. I have yet to get pregnant from it.
So funny.
I love it when you do your belly laugh.
I don't know if this was directed towards us
What?
or to someone else, but somebody wrote, he's only telling you what he thinks you want to hear.
Oh, that's to the chick who did the super chat.
Oh, okay.
That he wants to move in and marry her, but he's liking other women's pictures and stuff on social media.
Gotcha.
Yeah, why
BCM does mean becoming.
becoming? Yeah. No, I wouldn't. I would have a very serious conversation of, look, husbands and wives in a marriage don't treat each other this way. So you're telling me you want to marry me, yet you're going on and continuing to do this knowing that it's bothering me.
Yep.
So I need you to clarify what you really want here.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to be married, you need to be the man that's worth marrying because right now you're not that. Margaret wrote, you wear the pants, but Peaches tells you which one. If that was the case, I would never have pants on.
Accurate. Or you would be dressed real nice and sharp every day.
I mean, I can start dressing like that every day. I'm wearing basketball shorts right now because nobody can see that.
Oh, no, I mean, and like when I'm wearing like my red dress, you're wearing like a nice white button up and like black slacks and dress down casual.
I don't enjoy this conversation.
No?
I don't ever like dressing up like that. That one, when we went to Wicked and I had to wear that shirt, I was uncomfortable as fuck the whole night. And that's actually a really nice, comfortable shirt.
It is a very nice shirt, yeah.
Michaela May said, you inspire both me and my SO to not only in our relationship, but in our hustle. Thankful to have found you. We watch every night. I wish I could read that and not be fucking stupid with it. So let me try that again. You inspire both me and my SO, not only in our relationship, but in our hustle. Thankful to have found you. We watch every night. The reason I struggled to watch that or read that is because the comment right underneath of it said, swallow those boneless children. Fucking chat. Jesus.
Holy shit.
Y'all need Jesus.
Why did Bethany Baker say that she's going to get banned?
I don't know.
I'm so confused.
Kitty Katie said, your podcast helped save the relationship. Thank you for $2.
You're welcome.
Paige Kane said, thank you guys for what you do. We use check-ins and are reading Surrendered Wife together. We are also looking to move to remove our family from toxic family members. Time to take control of our lives and protect our peace.
Damn right.
let me fucking tell you.
Amen.
You remove those people from your life that's disrupting your peace, and you will fucking see how much drama they are bringing into your life when you're like, yo, it's been like 3 months.
Right.
And like, I haven't heard from them and life is dope.
Imagine looking out at a lake and there was just something massive thrashing on top of it, causing all of this noise and disruption. And then it finally stops. Mm-hmm. And the lake's quiet again. And you can hear little birds chirping and shit. It's exactly what it's going to be like. I'm really heavy on the nature metaphors today, or analogies.
She said she was going to get banned because she's the one who made the boneless children comment.
Ah, gotcha.
Well, if that's the case, we're next because we read that shit out loud. That shit was funny, though.
That's funny.
It was funny.
I mean, when you really think about it, it is just embodiment of DNA.
Yeah. Monty Lenny said, what books do you recommend to read first? We don't recommend that you read any of them first. You just go to our website, tobebetter.co, click on downloads and download that book list. There's a whole bunch of books on there that will help you get your life together. This will be the last super chat that we read because I'm hungry.
Me too.
It says IDIR. I don't know what that means.
IDR? Yeah, I don't know.
LDR. It's just not capital. Long distance relationship. Boyfriend says, I'm acting entitled when I need 5 minutes of his time. I had a really bad day and needed some comfort. Wanted to know your thoughts on that.
So what time was it? Were you like in the moment having a bad day and needed him to stop whatever he was doing to give you attention? Was he saying like, hey babe, I'm in the middle of something. Give me 3 hours and I can give you my undivided attention? Or did he just totally blow you off?
Right. Because that matters.
Right. If you're expecting his attention whenever you need it or want it and expect him to stop what he's doing, that's a problem.
Yeah. If I was in a business meeting and you were calling me having a meltdown, unless somebody was dying or like there was like a real true emergency, I'm not dealing with that right now. I'm in a fucking business meeting.
Right.
Yep.
It definitely depends on the situation.
You guys need to realize, especially in a long distance relationship, that the person that you're dating has their own life going on.
Yes.
You also need, dude, I'm not going to go there.
Okay.
I really don't like long distance relationships. I know that there are people that thrive in that shit. Me personally, I know that I'm not capable of it. So that's that. Carly Preston said, would you interview people reverse roles? Lady works, man stay at home dad. It would depend on the scenario. What would make me want to interview those people would not be the relationship. Is one of them a business owner, a small business owner? How did that affect your marriage? Like, I don't care about the relationship aspect. When I do interviews,
Right.
I want to get something of sustenance for other people.
So I'm going to pause. Do you mean interviews or do you mean like the paid for life coaching?
Oh, well, it says interview.
So I'm going to need clarification on that.
Right.
Because if you're meaning the interviews of like bringing people onto the podcast in studio and just interviewing people, I agree. There would have to be
Right.
some value in that.
Right. I don't want to just interview people who are in relationships. I don't want to interview just random people. I want
Right.
somebody that's done something. So even if they're not famous, like I want to interview Dakota. I want to interview Jordan from the t-shirt company that we order through. I have people we've had people that have podcasts that reach out to us that are creators. I got to be honest,
good.
some of them I don't want to interview, but like there's artists. I want to do an interview with Jeff Graham and I want to do an artist with that kid that does anime that goes live on TikTok that you were talking about.
Yeah.
I want to have conversations with people that's going to enhance their life. And if that role reversal thing was a thing and the woman was the worker and the dad was a stay-at-home dad and the woman had a business and like she had to choose her career over her family and we can talk about how that's affected her life, I would love to have that conversation. But just a role reversal, we've talked about the gender roles, and having a role reversal conversation doesn't really mean a whole lot because it's the same conversation. It's just backwards.
Right.
You can apply that to anyone's life. I don't know. Maybe that's a me thing. All right, guys.
Yeah, I'm hungry and I have to use the restroom.
With that being said, we will see you guys on the next one.
Bye, guys.